Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We are back on Tuesday Tips. I am Dr. Vidal, and this our Tuesday Tips is our weekly check-in. We go over different topics in plastic surgery, and I get to answer your questions. And this is a very, very special live because I have two people joining that are very, very special. We're going to be talking about massive weight loss, the journey, bariatrics to plastics, which is created by Pop Recovery. And I have the first one here. She's requesting to join. So I'm going to join here. See her. And okay, so she's going to be joining us. She has been very, very, a very strong influence. Hello, Tonya. How are you?
I'm so great. How are you?
Good. Good. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I need to back this up. I'm too close. There we go. That's better.
That's awesome. So I was just starting to let people know that we're going to be talking about massive weight loss,
Yes.
the journey between bariatrics to plastics, and massive weight loss surgery, skin removal, and a little bit of that. And if you want to introduce yourself for the ones that are here, Joy, that I don't know you, like on my side of the viewers, just tell us a little bit about you.
I'm Tonya Spangolo. I'm 46. My name on here, Taking My Life Back at 42, is probably how you know me. I do waters, protein coffees, things like that. I'm about 230 pounds down, and I'm about 4 years into my weight loss journey, and I'm about to get plastics. So I'm super excited about that.
That's awesome.
I've got lots and lots of loose skin from losing 230 pounds. Even though it's taken me a long time to lose it, I have a lot of loose skin. So I'm super excited about that.
That is awesome. What was your motivation to get to the point that you are right now?
I would say my grandkids, because my kids grew up and I was always the biggest mom. I was always the biggest mom at every ball game. I was the biggest mom everywhere we went. I was the biggest mom. And honestly, we didn't even go on vacations because I was so big. I would have to buy 2 plane tickets, or I couldn't fit on the roller coasters. Yeah. I wasn't comfortable in a swimsuit in the summertime for vacations. So my kids missed out on a lot. And I never want my grandkids to miss out on that. And so, yeah, I would say my grandkids.
And it's something that's shared, you know, when we have someone that we love and we see how they can be affected if we're not there anymore.
Yeah, now see that I've lost the weight. My kids have never said anything about my weight. They never were like, you know, Mom, why are you the biggest mom? Even when they were little.
Yeah.
But now that I've lost the weight, they're like, we wish you would have did this when we were younger, because they see, like, instead of me standing and watching my kids play ball, like I'm on the slide with my grandkids, I'm on the swing, I'm in the pool, instead of just kind of watching my life pass me by. Now I'm actually living. Yeah. And so I do regret not doing that when my kids were little, but I can't go back, you know. So there's no sense in dwelling on that.
Focusing on the future and the positive is what keeps you forward, of course. Yeah. Do you have TikTok? I'm on live on TikTok too. Do you have it to join on our TikTok live, or you're just in one phone?
Oh no, I can get I'm on my iPad, but I can join on my phone, on my TikTok. Yeah, I have TikTok.
Yeah. And so let me see.
So your name on TikTok is the same as on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same. On TikTok, I have our special guest. Let me see, because now we have to.
Okay, well, but she should go to Instagram.
Oh, here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm in your live on TikTok now, so I'll request to join. Okay, I requested.
Now she turned the camera on. You can see.
Hey, Maria.
Oh, shoot.
Hi, Maria. How are you?
So is she on TikTok? Is Maria on TikTok? Oh, okay. Okay.
Ask Maria if she can join Instagram. That's our main live, please.
Yeah.
Okay, I asked to join on TikTok as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see.
Okay, sure.
Sorry, let me.
you're
We're figuring it out.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to get Tonya and Maria both on in TikTok and Instagram. I can see. How can I see both of them in TikTok?
I can see Maria on TikTok, but not on Instagram.
Yeah, Maria, can you join us on Instagram? Is that possible for you?
I did send a request.
I don't have a date yet for the surgery with Dr. Rednam. I don't have a date yet. We're going to set that hopefully next week.
Awesome.
Someone was just asking in the comments.
Yeah, we're having
Okay.
feedback.
Okay, I turned the volume down on TikTok just so I feel like it's lots of feedback on there.
Yeah, that's better now.
Yeah, the echo. That's what that was. It's because we have both the phones out, both of the things.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. So,
I'm so excited.
I was just starting to go over Tanya's journey. So we just started with that. So if you want to share a little bit about your story, your journey up to today.
Okay. Hi, I am Maria George. I am 32. I'm a mom of four. And I lost just over 200 pounds. I lost that over the last 4 years, and I have been maintaining for about a year and a half now.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. I did that through diet and like changing my nutrition, making lifestyle changes, like realistic lifestyle changes with my nutrition, and focusing on moving my body every day.
That's amazing. I love to hear that.
It is very inspiring, and that's one of the main reasons I like to help and work with massive weight loss patients, because it's not easy. It's not easy making that decision, staying consistent, avoiding all the negatives, and going back to all those negative thoughts, and like spinning in that sense. So hearing both of your stories is inspiring and empowering, and gives hope for a lot of people. So thank you for both of you for sharing your stories. And it's something that resonated with me. Both of you guys mentioned that it's been 4 years. So it is something that sometimes people don't think, and they think that they're gonna lose the weight in 2 to 3 months, and that's not realistic. If you lose that amount of weight in 2 to 3 months, probably you're gonna gain it back, because you just that it's not sustainable. Resonated with me. Both your stories took time, but the consistency and the changing to that healthy habits. It's not a crazy diet, juicing for a couple of months and then like trying to sustain that, which is, I think, the most important thing.
Right. It's definitely a
style
process. It's such a process. You didn't gain the weight. Like for myself personally, I didn't blow up to 430 pounds overnight. That took years to do. And so I have to know, like in my mindset, it's going to take years to get my life back on track again. My mindset, everything, my nutrition, everything, my exercise. So it's a process. You have to know that going in.
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to now discuss a little bit about your surgery journey. So Tonya, you mentioned that you are having surgery soon. Do you want to share your thoughts and something that you want me to kind of talk over, because it's something that you have been thinking about, or you're not sure, anything in that sense?
So I have a lot of loose skin, and I don't show like all my loose skin all the time. Like no one really knows. I just showed it actually like a couple of weeks back, and people in the comments literally are like, I had no idea you had all that going on. Like we see you every day, and we had no idea that you have like all of that going on. They knew some of it, but not all of it. And so I've had this loose skin, and what's happened for me is I've been at the same weight for a long time now. And so my skin, gravity's kind of taken effect, and it's all kind of coming towards the middle, hence the fleur-de-lis. That's why Dr. Rednam was wanting to do the fleur-de-lis instead of just hip to hip. And so that's what's happened when you leave your loose skin for such a long time. It's going to come all, and it starts pulling at your back, and it's pulling everywhere. And so I'm super nervous about the surgery, just because I think for me, like I look at myself every day in the mirror like naked, because I have a mirror on the back of my door which is different because whenever I was over 400 pounds, we had no mirrors in this house. I didn't have any full length mirrors. We had little bitty circles above the sink where we brushed our teeth, and like that was it because I didn't want to see myself. And now my husband's like, now we get out of the shower and there's a mirror. Bam, there we are, you know? And I'm like, I know, because we're going to see ourselves. And so I look at my body all the time. And so I think like this skin, it's a part of me. Like it's been a part of me my entire life.
Yeah.
I'm 46 and I've had this skin for 46 years, whether it was deflated like it is now, or whether it was fluffed up like it was for so many years. For about 30 years, it was fluffed up. But I've had all this skin and for my whole life. And so I think it's a part of me. It's kind of like a security blanket, kind of like my hair. I've always had, in high school, I was always the funny fat friend with good hair. Like that's how they described me. And so my hair was always kind of always, you know, and I still have it kind of like that. It's still like a security blanket for me. So I think that's how my skin's going to be. I just wonder, for one, I don't know what it's going to be like to like get air to my body, because I can't even get any air right now. Like I know that's a little bit TMI maybe, but like I can't even get air to places that need air. And so now I'm going to have that. And I think like, what is that going to be like? What is that going to feel like? What is it going to be like? I can dress my body now, but I have to dress my body for all of my loose skin. Like if I leave the house, I always have on shapewear. And so which I know I'll have to wear my faja for a long time. Yeah. But there'll come a time when I won't need the shapewear. Yeah. And I'll just think like, what is that going to be like? Like, I'm so excited for that.
Yeah. You mentioned two things that that other patients have mentioned, and it's funny because the first one, I didn't even think about it, was that sense of you're removing something that's been with me my entire life, and that kind of feeling of losing something that it's yours. Right. I had a patient write a poem to her to the skin removal, and she brought it to the post-op, and it was a love-hate funny poem, and it was so funny the way that she described it. It's like, I love you, I hate you, but I need to let you go, and it's time to let you go now, and it's like hilarious. So I hadn't thought of that before, and now that you mention it, it's something, it's something that's there. It's a feeling that's there. And the other one was you're always like looking for clothing to hide it, or like the pants or something. So this was a male patient that the first time that he could wear a suit and pants to like and open it in the center, he was so happy, because he didn't have that extra skin there. So
I cannot imagine what that's going to feel like. Yeah. I think it's going to be so great.
Not having to like tuck it in. Like, I think it's like when you put jeans on, you got to like shove it in there and like make sure it's all.
Yes.
I can't.
Yeah. Like I can twist mine up. Like it's so, I got to put this up and this down and this over here. And it's just like, I'm not going to have that. It's going to be so weird. Yes. I think it's going to be so freeing too also. Yeah. Like I think I'm going to feel so free without all of the loose skin, because it's kind of like you've lost all this weight and you're still stuck with a body that you don't necessarily love, even though like for me, I'm super thankful for this body. Yeah. It's got me through every hard day I've ever had. You know, it's got me through 2 kids and 3 grandkids and all the things, just it's got me through everything. But I do think it's going to be kind of freeing to let go of that. Just let go of all of that. Just all the weight, everything that's holding me back. I feel like so much is wrapped up in that loose skin, you know, like all this hard work I've done, whether it's walking every day. And I know, Maria, you work out hardcore. So all this working out that we're doing and the nutrition and everything we're doing to lose this weight, but we're still left with this body of so much loose skin. So you can't really see what you've worked for. Like I will pick my skin up and look in the mirror and I'm like, I'm going to be so snatched. Like I'm going to be so skinny. And I don't know if I am. But I'll pick my skin up and I'll lift my boobs up and I'll lift my back and I'll try to see what I think my body looks like. And that's why I wear the shapewear, because I can get some kind of an idea of what I look like in the shapewear. But I just think it's going to be like the final reward, you know, like a reward to ourselves after all this weight loss, after all the work that we've done. Yes. I'm super excited.
That's awesome. There's a good question here in one of the comments. They asked about muscle repair. So yes, when we're doing body contouring after massive weight loss, it's not only skin removal. You have to have a combination of procedures to restore that contouring. And in the abdominal region, the muscle repair is key to achieve that tightening. So either if it's a fleur-de-lis, an extended or circumferential. That all depends on where the skin laxity is and the goals of each patient to determine which one is the best procedure for you. But all of them should include a muscle repair. When we have weight gain or pregnancies, any increase in intra-abdominal contents, the muscles kind of separate to stretch and kind of allow for that fat, baby, whatever it is that we have building inside of our abdomen. Once we lose that, either with weight loss or pregnancy or postpartum, that muscle may not go back to the center. And even if you work out, that muscle may still bulge. And especially when you're standing on the side looking at your belly, it may look like a pregnant belly because that muscle, it's still separated, even if you work out and you strengthen those muscles. So very, very important part of the abdominal body contouring is to bring those rectus abdominis muscles or those six-pack muscles back to the center to reestablish the abdominal wall to where it was. So yeah, very, very important part of it.
What about the fat transfer? Because they're supposed to, if there's enough time, all of the fat that they're removing from my abdomen and from the fleur-de-lis and from the back, they're going to try to do a fat transfer to my boobs because I don't want to do implants. And so like Dr. Redham has said, like, it's super important we do it at the same time because otherwise you just throw that fat away. And so instead they can do a breast lift and put the fat transfer from my stomach into my breast. But she described to me that my breast won't know. Like my body won't know that that fat is not on my belly anymore. So let's say maybe like at Christmas time I gain like 2 pounds, it'll be in my boobs because they still think it's on your belly. That's wild to me.
Those cells will grow. Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. The important thing is for especially breast, sometimes the breast fat is not enough to get you a cup size difference. It helps with volume and shaping, but not too much to increasing volume to the extent of like an implant would. So things to discuss with your surgeon, depending on your goals. When you're doing a lift, what cup size would you see yourself going? It's the difference between the volume you can achieve with fat transfer versus an implant or a combination of both. Because sometimes.
Yeah, I had a question I had on my Maria. I saw where you did Instagram questions as well. Do you have some of those?
Most of mine were asking when my surgery is and what surgery I am having.
Okay.
Yeah. So what are you having?
Do you want to share?
Yeah, I am going to have the circumferal lower lift. To address all the way around, which though I have a lot of skin all over, I do plan to come back for around the top to address all the skin that I have on the sides, on my back. So for right now, the lower is going to be what I'm going to go with.
Yeah. So yeah, very, very important. Like Maria's mentioning, sometimes we need more than one surgery. The weight gain and weight loss leaves excess skin in different areas. And very important things to consider when you're combining surgeries. Number one is safety, right? We want to combine surgeries to the extent that we're doing less anesthesia interventions, but that the anesthesia itself, it's not very long. It shouldn't go over 5 to 6 hours, and then the increase in risks, the risk increases after surgery, infection, blood clots, and all that. And the other one is recovery wise. So you don't want to do surgeries that interfere. So for example, we're starting with the lower body lift circumferentially because we can take care of all that excess skin in the lower. But if we do the upper as well at the same time, we're putting so much tension in the back, then we end up having wound healing problems. We have to let the lower part heal, tighten it as much as possible, and then go and do the other part and tighten it as much as possible, and then avoid those tensions that are opposite directions working at the same time.
Lots of questions here about the age limit. Do you have an age limit on the surgeries? Several questions about that. Is there an age limit for skin removal?
So it depends on the surgeon and where the facility that the surgeon works. So for me specifically, I work in an office-based surgical facility in Florida. So there are limitations on the aging because of the anesthesia classification. So when we're going under general anesthesia, there's something called ASA, or anesthesia class, that stratifies you on risk of anesthesia. So when I'm doing an office-based surgery, I can only do surgery in anesthesia or ASA class 1 and 2 patients. So that's less than 60 years old, healthy, or medical conditions that are controlled, not uncontrolled medical conditions. So for me, yes, I put a limit of 60, but that does not mean that every surgeon in the US has that limit. You know, there are surgeons that operate in hospitals, in ASCs, which is ambulatory surgical centers, and those have different anesthesia limitations. And so if you are over 60, you should try to get a board certified plastic surgeon that works in a hospital setting, and that way they can, you know, do and help you in that sense.
Mm-hmm. So I had a lot of questions on mine. I just kind of screenshotted the questions.
Yeah.
So many questions about recovery time. Like, how do you, different procedures per recovery time?
Yeah, the limitations are similar in time length, but differ a little bit in the extent of the surgery that you're gonna get and how easy you're gonna feel, or you're gonna be able to return back to normal. So in a general sense, 6 weeks, no exercising, no heavy lifting. So that's pretty standard for the majority of the procedures. What surgeries usually have a little bit more of a time to kind of go back to normal? The abdominal one tends to be a little bit harder because of the muscle repair. You can start working out at 6 weeks, but you will feel tight. You will feel that when you're especially stretching and doing core work, kind of that it's tight. And that's okay. It's just, it'll take you some time to get back to your level that you were before exercise wise. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of, for example, extremity surgery, arms, thigh lifts, those surgeries tend to have a little bit of an increased rate of wound healing problems. That's basically the swelling in the extremities is usually more. And also we use our extremities constantly. We're moving around. I want you up and walking after the surgery. So all of those things increase the risk of wound opening. So if a wound opening occurs, then the recovery is a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so at what point, I got 3 or 4 of the same question. At what point in a weight loss journey should you even consider your skin removal?
So for if you're doing bariatric surgery, I recommend at least 1 year after your bariatric procedure. But the other important factor is achieving your goal weight. So you may have had your surgery 1 year ago, but you're not in your ideal body weight. And that is the most important part, because if you continue to lose weight after your skin removal surgery, you're going to end up with more skin laxity. So there's no point in doing the surgery before. It's better to achieve that ideal body weight and then wait 6 months of stability. Because we all know once we reach that goal weight, you may have fluctuations, and that happens to all of us, right? And a fluctuation of 10 pounds is not going to be dramatic in the result of surgery, because we all, like Tonya mentioned, you know, like Christmas, holidays, we all fluctuate in weight a little, and that's okay. That's normal. But fluctuations of more than 10, 20 pounds will have an effect on your surgery. So I always recommend at least 1 year after bariatric surgery, at least. But the most important one, at least of 6 months of stable weight in your ideal body weight.
So I had someone, what are the main things that you should look for in a surgeon? Like for me, I looked for someone that was close to me. And then I looked for someone, I really, like I've met with several people. I just go on like vibes. Like I can tell instantly if I'm going to vibe with you or not. If I feel like we're aligned, you know, if I feel like your goals and my goals match up, you want the same thing for me. And so that's, for me, like those are the huge things for me and my family, was that it needed to be close to me and someone that I feel like I aligned with.
Yeah, I mean, those 2 things are extremely, extremely important. I would go also very, very importantly with a board certified plastic surgeon.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, the training, the credentialing is extremely important. So you know that you are going with a surgeon that is trained, and also it goes by the safety measures of the American Board of Plastic Surgery. So for me, that's very, very important. The other thing that you mentioned, which is not it's not considered by a lot of patients, is exactly the personality. This massive weight loss surgery body contouring is usually the majority of times more than one procedure, and a lot of times requires revisions. You have excess skin in areas that everybody's different, so you may end up with loose skin in an area that you need to retouch. Retouches and revisions are high in the massive weight loss population, so you want to go to a surgeon that you trust. Like, that's the most important aspect, that you feel that you can go and say, this, I'm very happy with this, I think we can make this better, what about this, what about that, and make a plan that fits you. So I think that board certification and the relationship that you establish with your surgeon.
Right. What about you, Maria? What did you look for, like, in a surgeon? Like, what's big for you?
Making me feel comfortable and confident in the choice of like what I was going to do, because I am very terrified of surgery, to be honest. And so like when we met and we had a conversation and I expressed all the things that like I'm nervous about, all my crazy thoughts, all of that, and just being reassured, and not even just being reassured, but taking the time to break it down and like really educate me on like how, like, this is what can happen. This is like how it typically goes. That made me feel so comfortable, so much relief.
Yeah, good. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like she mentioned, there's not one surgery per, like, this is like, you need this or you need that. Like, that communication between patient and surgeon is very important. And everybody's goals are different, right? And the result that you want or that you're looking for, it may not be the same that another person is. So that the surgeon is able to tailor it to your goals and expectations is very, very important.
And in the comments here, we have the length of time between procedures, such as tummy tuck, thigh lift, arm lift. So the length of time between those.
Yeah, that's very, very good question. At least 3 to 4 months is the minimum. 6 months is ideal.
Okay.
Yeah. You want everything to be healed, all the swelling to come down, so you can restart like the healing process on that new area.
Will you operate on someone with sleep apnea? That was a question.
So sleep apnea will have to get an evaluation by your primary care, sometimes a pulmonologist, to make sure that your pulmonary function tests are good. And if that is good, then yes, we can do the surgery with your BiPAP machine. There's some adjustments, but yes, it is possible.
All right, Maria, they wanted to know, when is your surgery?
We're still taking that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will let everybody know.
Yeah.
As soon as it is set, everybody will know.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's exciting. Are you super excited?
I am still processing. Very excited, very nervous still, but I'm so ready.
I know exactly when you say like you're still processing and the nerves, but you're so ready. That's exactly how I describe it as well. Like, I'm so ready to get rid
Like
of
you
this,
said, like
but it's
we've
so...
lived with this body our whole lives, and it's like, it's not that I hate my skin and that I don't want it. It's uncomfortable, and I'm just ready for that. Like you said, like that version of me isn't here anymore. And so I'm ready for this next version of me, the full version of me, the one that I worked so hard for, that doesn't have the skin hanging off of me and limiting the things that I'm able to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that we are partnering with Pop Recovery Systems, and I think they are a very, very good resource that are going to help Maria in this process, because it is a process. It's a process to prepare you for surgery, not only mentally, but also physically, nutrition-wise, to get that to be ready for wound healing and all the process of surgery. And then in the initial post-op period, regarding your wound management, avoiding complications, and also staying up on top of that nutrition to get you to that point. So they're also on board and are going to be very, very helpful in that process for you. So don't be scared that you're not alone in this process, and you are going to get all that support that you need. Okay.
All right. There was a question that scrolled up on me. Is there hair loss associated with surgery? Because my hair is already falling out so much.
So no, not really. It's more of a nutrition thing. So after surgery, if you're not keeping up with your vitamins and supplements, you may experience some other side effects of low vitamins and supplements, and hair loss may be one of them. Yeah, but it's not directly, surgery causes that.
What about a mommy makeover recovery time, and what all does it include?
So a mommy makeover is basically breast procedure and a tummy tuck. So breast procedure, it can be breast implants, breast lift with implants, breast reduction, depending on what the patient needs, and the tummy tuck at the same time. That procedure, it's very similar. The recovery time being the first 2 weeks, you're going to need more assistance, more help, kind of staying on top of the walking, getting out of bed, maybe more assistance with putting your garments on because you're a little bit more sore. And then 6 weeks of no exercising, no heavy lifting, and all that. Very, very important. And I wanted to mention that each surgeon has their own protocols. Every surgeon uses different sutures, different post-op dressings, different things, dressings, no dressings. So if a surgeon tells you 4 weeks for this, other 6 weeks, there's a rationale between that, and it's not that one surgeon is wrong and the other one is right. It's a combination of, their experience with what they've seen, what they're using, and what they've seen work with their patients. So I always say that because I do 6 weeks, but there are other surgeons that let you start doing light exercises earlier. There's a little bit, of fluctuations and differences in the post-op care there between surgeons. Yeah.
Can you talk about recovery from a tummy tuck 360 and a lower body lift?
Yeah. So for that one, I think the most important part is the help getting out of bed for that first week is going to be a little bit more because you don't want to strain the back or the front. So you're going to have a little bit more assistance when, getting up from bed and transferring. But I still want you up and moving and walking because that's going to help a lot with the recovery. We're definitely going to do another live when it's closer to, when I have a surgery day, when it's closer, to go into more details about, that post-op instructions and a little bit more in specific of Maria surgery, so everybody knows.
Yeah.
I wanna thank you both so much. We're running out of time now, but thank you so much for joining. Again, both of your stories are inspiring, and it shows that with determination and hard work, you can get your goals. And something that Maria says in your stories and posts is like, we don't wake up every day wanting to do everything, but you kind of motivate yourself and get yourself to there. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining the live.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay.
You guys have a good day.
You too.